Awesome. So this is our DM150 Quiz 2 review. And when I post this onto Moodle, I'll also explain. I'll have a little page here after this first one, just explaining the regular rundown. But as a very quick reminder, we are having our quiz on the 3rd of Daisy, 3rd of May, which is next week. Excuse me. Awesome. So 3rd of May is next week, Monday. And again, feel free to use these slides and ask me questions during the quiz, and you will have access to this recording as well. So the way that I go about these slides, and I do this because I want to make sure that I give more information than just the answer to you guys. Of course, this always helps to figure out the answer too, but I want to make sure that you guys understand what some of these questions are asking about as well. But the way, and I don't, I'll go over some of these, but of course these are for you guys to read through as well. If anything doesn't make sense here, let me know. But I want to hit on a few points that I thought were important to get across. But the main thing that I want to show off is if you see at the top of each of these slides up here, I have a very general point of questions on social media, questions on podcasts, webinars, webcasts, and blogs. And again, if this is all very new to you guys, no worries. You'll be signed for the quiz using the slides, and we can go over these a bit more in depth. But a bit of these are pretty straightforward as well. I'm sure not everyone, I'm sure everyone's familiar with a few of these at the very least. But of course, we can discuss them more in detail. But what I want to get across is if you're taking the quiz and you see you're reading the question and it's saying something about LinkedIn or Facebook, you can then just go to the slides that say questions on social media, and Facebook and LinkedIn information are there. So I just did this organized for you guys, and I think this is a bit well, it might be easier or harder. I'm not sure. This is up for you guys to give me feedback because I usually do it this way. So if these slides are okay, let me know. But if you mic unplugged, but if you want me to change how we do these, that's okay too. Great. So let me go back to the start here. So anyway, your questions on social media here, it ranges from Facebook to LinkedIn and Pinterest and Instagram as well. And there's a few more. Oh, I think I have a few duplicates there. Okay, I'll fix this up so you can ignore these two here. But anyway, for these questions, like for instance, Pinterest is a great way to pin up your content in a sense. You are going to be able to have images online, and then those images will link back to your main website too. Because I do know we're online and I don't have full control over what you guys can do on the computer, which is completely fine. I highly recommend just looking up stuff as well. Like, I'm not too familiar with Pinterest, but you are more than welcome to, during the quiz, to just look up Pinterest itself and then see what Pinterest is about. And then as you can see here, this is Pinterest, so you can see stuff about how you might be able to scroll through it as well. But anyway, again, so feel free to look these up too. A few notes here is that Facebook is a great way to offer lots of marketing tools and to share media. LinkedIn is kind of like a more professional Facebook. So if you wanted to share off information to your about your brand and company to professionals, you might want to use LinkedIn. If you're looking for like experts in the industry to see what you're doing as well, LinkedIn is usually a good way to do it. Instagram is usually very good if you're taking a lot of photos. If you're a photography brand or if you're a photography studio, you will probably have Instagram, as Instagram is mainly about just photos. One warning here, and again, this is a repeat, but the warning here is that not all social media is free, and also you don't need to make social media platforms and everything for your business, right? If you're showing off your brand or your business, you don't need to make a Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You'll actually find that you're spending most of your time trying to figure out each of those and post to them rather than actually work on the business. So these things take a lot of time. So remember, what you want to do is pick two or three of these. And again, you could have a website and a Twitter, or a website, Twitter, Instagram, and just get really good at them. And again, that's similar to what we're doing for the Capstone project, right? Where we know that we don't need every single social media platform, but we do know that we can do better on the ones that we currently have. So again, just as a warning, don't think that you need to use all social media, and I believe that's a true or false question. But whatever it's saying, it will be false there because it's pretty much trying to trick you to think that you should use all social media. Now, I'm not too concerned about the social media aspects. I think a lot of these are straightforward, but again, feel free. These slides are provided to you guys, so feel free to read through them. And if at any point none of it makes sense, just let me know. I have a few questions here as well on podcasts, seminars, webinars, webcasts, and blogs, which is a big mouthful here. But essentially, podcast is a way there you can discuss topics and have a more personal or maybe long-winded conversation about stuff. You can really put your brand out there as well. Oops, sorry. Let me let him in. Excuse me. And once you have a podcast, you're able to go ahead and kind of discuss stuff too. And there's a lot of famous podcasts out there, but another really good thing about podcasts is that if you're able to get on one and talk about yourself and stuff for a while, you can reach a much wider range of an audience as well. A webcast is a bit of a unique one. It's very similar to podcasts, but a webcast is a way you can deliver information to everyone at once, and it's kind of just like a very broad thing that people could join into. So a podcast might be pre-recorded and sent out to people, but a webcast is more likely to be live, and then you could join in on a live webcast. Excuse me. Blogs now. Blogs are always a very interesting and unique way to add on to your website or to add on to your social media too. In general, your blog, the reason it's there, excuse me, sorry about that. Sorry, I worded this a bit odd, but essentially the blog is there to make whatever you're offering more attractive. You're going to be able to offer experience using your blog. You're going to be able to show off ideas, and you're going to be able to post announcements. And now, again, the best place to host your blog is probably on your website that you have. Social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter aren't the best for hosting a blog. And as a very quick example of a good blog message is tips and tricks to bake the best chocolate chip cookies. And again, the reason that that's the best type of message that we have is because if we remember from previous lectures as well, and in general with brands, is that we want to teach customers something so that they can teach others it as well. Remember that a very good way to make people enjoy your brand and to like your brand a bit more is to teach them something that they don't know. So another example of this, that's off the top of my head, would be something like a gym membership brand might say the best 10 stretches that you won't know. And then because everyone is exercising and stuff too, they will like the stretches, and then they might learn a stretch that they didn't know before and then share it with their friends. So again, teaching people and figuring out what they want to show off, making the person feel really smart is a really good way to attract them into whatever you're trying to market to them. You in? Great. Now, this one is a lot, and I don't want to bore you guys to death with everything. So, but again, the main points I want to get across is that your testimonials, always try to get these. Don't be afraid to ask for them. And make sure that, let's see here, make sure that you don't think that you shouldn't ask for them. Like, make sure that you say write a review, stuff like that as well. Don't be shy about it because that's a very good way to show off your brand. Websites here, this is a very large part, and a bit of this is just general definitions. So one question is going to ask you what is the good length for a website page, and usually it's 250 to 350 words. And of course, the main thing I want to get across is because I'm not sure if you covered this with the other instructors yet or not, but on websites, there are something, you'll see it's called here, they're called spiders or robots, but pretty much when I type something into Google, there is a machine, or not a machine, but there is a quote unquote robot or an algorithm that will go out and try to find matches for the keywords I put in. So that's what that robot is. And whatever you're typing on your content on your website as well, make sure that it's well written and that it's correct and that you have some solid keywords and phrases in there, because then the robot that is searching for your website will be able to find it faster and be able to give it to the user faster as well. Now, because of that though, keywords again, as a very small example, Whoops a daisy, sorry. Again, I don't want to go too overkill with these examples here. Let me see. Great. So I just typed in glass installation on Google. And as we can see here, if I scroll down a bit inside of these and I look at these websites, these keywords that I typed in are highlighted. So glass replacement is highlighted. Glass installation is highlighted here. And then glass is here. Window installation. And then glass some more. If you see, they're kind of bolded. And that is essentially what this robot is doing for us, right? It's able to find these installation items and replacement items, and it's able to return. So these guys are at the top of the ranking because they have their keywords organized pretty well, and their content is probably reflective of those keywords as well. So they're able to go above their competition, which is what you want, right? So that is an example of what those keywords and stuff would be. So you might be thinking, if you're trying to get a robot to give you your website to someone, why wouldn't you just constantly put your keywords and phrases? Excuse me. The problem with that is that it will become something called keyword stuffing, and your entire website would just pretty much be keywords, and it wouldn't make any sense to a user. So you kind of want to strike a solid medium where you're able to write enough keywords that it gets the robot to find it, but also have enough content that's well written and doesn't look weird so that the user enjoys it as well. And again, for the best type of website that you need, you want one that's informative, persuasive, and relevant as well. So those are your three types of, or those are three really important factors to consider when you're writing your website. And then from there, you should have a very solid website. Excuse me again. Sorry, everyone. Okay. And now the last one here. Again, if any of these are like way out of the water or anything, just let me know. We can go over them. But SEO, search engine optimization, relates to that robot example I showed off earlier where you're searching for things. And SEO is search engine optimization. And essentially, these are techniques that give the owner of a website the ability to make the site more visible in search listings. So again, my glass example, the glass company was able to go above the other one because they had very optimized search engine. So they were able to appear higher in the ranking than their competitors. Excuse me. Okay, sorry about my allergy. I hate these allergy seasons. Let me see here. 1 second. Sure. To here, I can give you the password here. Great. There you go. Let me know if that doesn't work to here, but it should be working. Awesome. Great. So again, with your SEO, you just want to make sure that whatever content you have out there is optimized correctly so that you appear in those searches faster. And that means that more people will more likely click on your website. Now, another thing here at the bottom is that I said make sure your URLs are easy for spiders to read. Again, you can call them spiders or robots, but that refers to pretty much Google searching for your website. And the best type of URLs that you can get are with hyphens. An example of it is shown below. So furniture.com, pull out sofa. You don't want to have something that is a bunch of gibberish. You don't want to have something that is all one word. You want to have something that has hyphens between it. And why would you want to have hyphens between it? Well, that indicates that there might be some spacing. And most people they're not going to put pull out sofa all in one word. They might put pull out one word and then hyphen sofa, but usually people put spaces between each word. So you can assume that pull out sofa is one that's going to be typed in the most, and therefore you were able to return your URL a bit better that way. Great. So now I have a few. Now these next. Oh, great. Well, I thought we had more. So this slide here is just like kind of one-off questions that occur a few times. Again, these guys have a bit more information on them, but these guys occur every so often. The main one I want to show off is that I'm guilty of this with sometimes when I try to pronounce names, I try to use Google Translate, and I apologize for that. Google Translate is nice sometimes, but it's not an effective way to translate languages, especially if you're doing international business. So don't think that you could just copy and paste all of your language into the Google Translate and then just paste it again. You want to make sure that you either have someone or you know someone that can translate it for you. Google downgrades is something to remind us that we need to keep our website up to date. Anytime that we have a website that's inactive or we have a website that isn't responsive, Google will eventually downgrade it, meaning that it will go to the second page of Google, that it will keep falling down the ranks. So make sure that you're up to date with your website and don't fall behind in that aspect. Excuse me. So I'll make sure I'm not missing. Okay. And now I have something here that is a good copywriter. And a good copywriter, if you're hiring someone, is someone. And then the question on the quiz is asking what is the aspect of a good copywriter. The main point is that the good copywriter will ensure that your call to actions, remember the things at the bottom that say join now or we are. I think for our example, for Project Tree, we were saying that the Black Dog Gelato Company was at the festival. Come try out our samples. That's a call to action. So a good copywriter will make sure that they can grab someone's attention and then have them enact something. And the two phases when you're creating a piece of copy, if you're doing a copyright, is going to be writing and editing. That's just like a basic definition of those. Now, how do you come up with content? This was a bit of a weird one for me as well. So I just kind of gave you guys this one as a freebie. Essentially, I have actually, the quiz was kind of worded it a bit weird as well. But anyway, for this one, that's the answer. So if you see coming up with content in your quiz for quiz 2, the answer is that you need to look up from daily work to see the ideas. Again, coming up with content, there's not like one specific answer for it. It's a bit more broad, but this is the one for our quiz. And the last one I want to speak of is visual design. Now, visual design essentially means how you have your website laid out, and then this also helps showcase your brand. And the design you pick, the visual design you have, should make you look like an expert. You want to make sure you look really cool and nice, and that you can push off this idea that you're an expert to whoever is viewing your website. Awesome. So that's actually it for the quiz, for a quiz 2. I hope that was okay. And again, I didn't go through each and every single one of these at every page. I went through a majority of them, but feel free to use this on the quiz. And you can, once I post this, the video of this recording will be right here at the start here, and you can watch it at your own convenience.